It's Get Valiant number 170. How you doing, Eric?
I'm doing good. How about yourself?
Hanging in there. I'm glad I'm not
Yeah.
wearing a mask right now. That's how I am.
Yeah. Yeah. I can get behind that. Glad we're in our own houses.
That's right. That's right, man. Oh, dude, it's been a couple of weeks since we had anything, and Valiant put out a book this week, and we thought they'd put out some little news too. So, yep. So we figured we'd introduce the fancy new intro. Thank you, Greg, and that we would just have a little fun with all of it. So we'll go from there.
Yeah, man. That's what it's about, is having some fun. I thought that was pretty cool, so I'm on board. But yeah, a book came out, which is always awesome. It is a book that we have read before, but with new additional content.
Yep. I mean, the kids love reruns, and I don't know if you thought the digital remakes of Star Wars were better than what we got later on. But, nonetheless, trying to new and improved, get things out there, and relaunch this arc of Bloodshot number 7. Yeah.
So I think two things about them releasing this. Number one, I think it's only weird, kind of, because everything got shut down and then now it's re-releasing the way it was. Like, if things had released the way that it was intended and we were still at 6 books a month and this came out back in March, I don't think it would be weird. Like, it would just make sense and come out, and it would just be another, thing that was cool on the shelf that people could pick up and get into the book. So I don't know. That I think has made it a little bit weird that now we're in this new phase of rolling things out and we all want new content, and here we are getting something that's we have kind of gotten before. I don't think that was the intention originally, but the really nice thing about it is that it does launch the new arc, like you said. So this is a good opportunity for people who are coming back into the comic book shops after being away and wanting to see, what new stuff is out. And maybe they got to see Bloodshot while they were on lockdown, and they see this on the shelf with Vin Diesel on the cover. It's a perfect introduction to the new arc, and you can get into this book. And I think it's a great book. I reread it. I hadn't read it since it came out originally, and it holds up. I think it's a good book.
Is this the one where he goes in and finds basically all the people in the basically the water jars? Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
He and Mina, I think that's her name, Mina.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I haven't reread it since we reviewed it a while back. I remember I looked through it and I was like, going through it, and I'm just like, wait a second, I've already been through this book before. And so that was kind of where that went there. So it's trying to push that back a little bit.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I got through it again and I thought it was good. I think it's a good book, and it was nice to have a little bit of a refresher before we get into the next issue. But the cool thing about it was there was some extra content. There was some art in there. We got to see some ads for things that are yet to come. Unfortunately, the book was printed back before the whole pandemic happened, so they have ads in there with dates that unfortunately aren't realistic anymore. But we have the new content of things from the movie, and then also what I thought was really, really cool was there was an article written by Kevin Van Hook. Mm-hmm. And I always like the way that he talks about his role in Bloodshot. He's not like, look at how I did this thing. He's like, no, here's how things happened, and here's all the people that were involved, and they all deserve their credit. Mm-hmm. And I don't know. I just think that he's really straightforward and real, and I like reading that stuff. And so I thought that was a great article.
I dig that guy. I think he's just a grounded, cool guy. Great for the fans, great for the comics in general, great for Valiant, great for Bloodshot. And so yeah, always getting his points of where things were, where things are, and then seeing the success that people like that get is I think is just well warranted, and I like it when that happens. So yeah.
I think my favorite part of the article was when Kevin said that he had met Tim Seeley at one point, and they were talking, and Kevin didn't want to assume that Tim knew that he had done comics, so he's like, yes, I do TV and movie stuff now, but I used to work in comics, and Tim immediately was like, no, I know you did Bloodshot, and I loved Bloodshot when I was younger, and that was before Bloodshot came out. So I thought that was cool to know that Kevin remembers an interaction of this guy saying that he was into Bloodshot, and now here's the guy that's writing Bloodshot and giving us badass stories. So that was my favorite little anecdote.
That's cool, and I think Tim's an awesome guy too. Having met him, and just chatting with him about everything, I think it's cool and where he's going, and then seeing the tie-in that's coming around. I mean, touching back with Free Comic Book Day, the talk-in of having Wiggins and KT in there is super cool, and I believe he's been in this before with Guardians of the Galaxy. He's been in this before with a couple other comic books that have turned into movies. So he's kind of done this before. So I think it's kind of cool to see that he's brought that in there. And so that that's kind of connecting in a way. Is it necessarily going to stay, canon with one another? I don't think so. But I mean, hey, if it plays out a story and we get the characters that we enjoyed on the screen, maybe we can enjoy them in the book, and we'll see how well they're written and the characters. See if they're able to bring out that character that I forget his name, but the actor that played Wiggins did, and just kind of stole the show a little bit. So
yeah, Wiggins completely stole the show. Lamont Morris, I believe, is his name.
That's right.
Yeah, he completely stole the show. But KT was awesome as well. So having those in there, I liked how they handled Wiggins in the Free Comic Book Day issue. Having Bloodshot with a guy behind the keyboard, I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's a different. Because it's got to be somebody he trusts, and I don't know. The nanites could do a lot of that too. They're the nanites; they're connected. And so that was kind of an interesting thought of having a need for Bloodshot to need somebody like that. But is it more along the lines of having somebody who can help him out? I don't know, who he trusts, who's in that piece, because he doesn't have that. And so I think that's where I think the real piece needs to be connected with him. Lamorne Morris is Scott so nicely let us know. And but I think that's the piece that needs to be there is the connected piece, is the trusted piece, the person who's not going to use him and screw him over like he's had happen so many times before. But there's got to be a lot of resistance and Bloodshot willing to give that up to go with the canon. So I hope that that's something that when you look at it, that he's really timid about having anybody come into his life that he really truly trusts. So.
I'm 100% with you, but I think that it'll make a lot of sense because as we come out of this arc, this arc right now that we're in is about Bloodshot being betrayed by the people that he actually did trust. Right. So exactly like you're saying, he's going to be coming out of this completely unwilling to trust anybody. But yeah, it's going to be really cool to see how they're worked in and exactly how things play out. And I think it'll be an interesting story. But I do think coming out of this story where Bloodshot is losing the trust that he had, the people that he trusted, I think that it's going to be good for him to get into a position where he has that assistant, that sidekick that can help him and be there for him when nobody else is, and give him advice when he doesn't necessarily know that he needs it. So I don't know. I'm excited about it. I think it's a really cool concept and could be a cool spin on the character. So I'm on board. But
Yeah.
Oh man.
Let's even talk about some of the news. I don't know if you want to rescore that book, but we did cover Bloodshot 7 before.
Yeah,
And
we don't need to rescore the book. I think that it was a good book. I'm glad I got to read it again, and I'm looking forward to the next arc starting, or the next arc continuing. The one thing that I enjoyed about another thing, I guess I should say, about rereading it was I really like the art in this. I really think that they did a great job of getting another artist when Brett Booth stepped away, and I think that it's just awesome. It's just really, really good. So, great book. Definitely something I recommend, especially if you haven't been following Bloodshot yet. Pick up number 7. I think this is a great opportunity to get into it, get some extra content, and maybe it'll make you want to buy the first 2 trades, which I believe should be out if they're not. They should be out soon if they're not both already out. So definitely something I recommend.
And I think that's one thing that's really good with both, from what I've noticed with Lisa Hawkins and what I've noticed with Tim Seeley, is that they're really good about kind of letting you in on the story, even if you're coming midway. Like, even though it's the brand new arc, 7, pick up 7, and then you could catch up 1 through 6 if you haven't already. They're really good about doing that, because 1 through 3 is an arc, 2 through 3, 4, and 4 through 6 is an arc. So you already have 2 arcs. This is the third in this run, and they're good in and out arcs. They're good in and out stories. But like I said, you don't have to get into the first ones to get to this one. They do a great job of doing that, and I've noticed that with like Lisa. And that was with Dan Abnett too on Rye. They're really good about opening these stories to where they're inclusive. You know what I mean? And
yes.
So you're open to do it where you jump on.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with you. I think that this is exactly what you would want, is the ability to be able to pick the book up anywhere in the run and know what's going on. And I think that it definitely nails it. Like I said, not only was this book a refresher for just what happened in this issue, but it was a good refresher for the entire series, because they do let you know what's going on and kind of the context of everything that's been happening. I think it's a really good book. And we did get so Greg, making sure that we're aware, both book 1 and book 2 are out. And definitely something that, if you haven't been following Bloodshot, I cannot recommend enough going and grabbing those. Both book 1 and book 2 have Brett Booth on art, and as much as I'm saying I like beautiful. The art in this, it's even better.
I dig it.
It's definitely something that I highly recommend. So,
and for those that say that it's like 90s art, who gives a shit? I like it.
Yeah.
That's great.
It's perfect for an action comic. It looks like an action comic, right?
But Mark's doing great in the current one too. But yes, it 100%. Looks action. It looks awesome all the way through. Yep.
Yeah, I'm with you. So the news there are a couple of pieces. One I don't want to spend too much time on because I think it's kind of a non-issue, but I think it's worth mentioning, is the fact that Valiant did close their office. I'm
sad I never got to go, damn it. And everybody else got to go, I feel like, and that's what pisses me off.
That's the only thing that bums me out, but I'm sure that when it's entirely possible that there will be a new office. So, but yeah, I totally think that now is the time to make a decision like that, because, like my work, they're making decisions like everybody who can work from home is going to continue working from home at least until the beginning of next year, if not longer. Right. So if Valiant is doing the same thing, where all of their employees are working from home because they can, they don't have to go to the office. It's not essential. And obviously health and safety are a factor. So it just makes sense to me. And that's why, like I said, I think it's less of an issue than some people are making it out to be. That's my personal opinion.
If they found a couple hardcovers that are around there that are just, sitting there, or any of that stuff, no, that it's sad. That it was kind of there since the beginning, from my understanding. It's been there a long time.
Sure.
and it's a physical location, and that's part of it. It's also like right in the heart of freaking like a couple blocks south of Central Park. So I'm sure that's not a pretty I'm sure that is a pretty penny to cost rent money, lease money. So when you're paying that much, and it is possible to work remotely, it is possible in this day and age for that. And part of it, if you are an adult and you're a big boy, you don't need to work in an office for somebody to look over your shoulder to tell you what to do, and you should be able to do it on your own. It's not, the boss's job to babysit somebody and have you come to the office so people could watch them. So that's kind of where business wise, it makes 100% of sense, and lower your overhead. That way you don't have to fire people. That way you can produce more books. That way, we can get 8 books instead of 6. So, let's move that money somewhere else. But, it's sad that I didn't get to visit, but other than that, we could still go to New York and visit Greg and the crew while we're there. We'll meet at Midtown or something and go from there. But sad, but makes sense. And especially knowing that, working in healthcare-ish, like you're going to, this probably could be another year that we're dealing with this stuff. And that's what's sad and that's what's scary. And I know we don't like it, but that's kind of what it looks like. And we have to be aware of that. And we don't want people getting sick. We don't want people, taking it home, that whole COVID thing done. Moving forward, sad. So, but there was some other news this week that got us a little bit more excited, a little pep in the step, and got us a little bit of stuff, to look forward to right now.
XO Manowar.
Rawr.
He is going to be coming out in November. So, I don't know when. I'm not sure exactly how it's going to roll out. I don't know if they want to re-release issue 1 or do some kind of thing where they put issue 1 back on the shelves. But I think that it's going to be weird.
That makes sense. That makes total sense to let people come back out with number 1, get you back on the shelf with it. But then again, I do remember, I think it was Matthew Klein that let us know that there will be store exclusives for number 2 to really get number 2 ready and launched. And I think that's pretty cool. And no, I did not see the Daniel Warren Johnson variant, and I am really wanting to because I love Daniel Warren Johnson like something fierce. That dude is freaking awesome. So if we could only get him, I want to see this. But I'm gonna look up right now. Thank you for.
I'm totally looking it up right now.
Yeah, I freaking loved Extremity, and I thought if you're into music at all, you have to get Murder Falcon. Like it's pretty awesome. Like his recent stuff that he wrote and drew. I dug all of it. So
it looks absolutely phenomenal. Oh my god.
Oh yes, I see it. Okay, yes. Yep.
Yep. Wow, that looks amazing.
Yeah, Daniel Warren Johnson is pretty damn awesome. So again, he's one of my favorite, and he's one of my favorite independent ones. I'm gonna see if I can't get that up somehow for you guys to take a look. Bear with me. New thing. So we're working on it.
But yeah, so I'm curious if we're gonna get re-release. See, Sean Hayes is saying they should hit it with $1 debut. And if that's possible, I think that's a great idea. I had the same thought. I don't know if that's feasible. If it is feasible,
couldn't quite get it, but that's
Oh, just all you're missing on that Exo Manowar cover is Exo Manowar.
I know. Yeah.
No, thank you for trying, and thank you for doing what you can with it. That's more than I did, so I shouldn't be talking shit.
That's damn right.
But yeah, that's an amazing cover. Definitely people should go look it up. And so I'm kind of curious to see how it'll roll out. I am excited for this. I remember the first issue. It was a little bit divisive. Some people liked it more than others as far as the story went, but I think that we can all agree the art was absolutely gorgeous, and I cannot wait for more. I, for one, enjoyed the story quite a bit in issue 1, and I'm really excited to see where it goes, how it continues. I thought that there was a really good mix of the superhero aspect of being Exo Manowar versus the kind of human quiet moments of being Exo Manowar and being Auric of Dacia and living in this time displaced reality that he exists in.
Yeah. I'm ready to see the next issues. I think I had some issues with it, but it was kind of one of those. It was an issue number 1. There was some like continuity things, some character things that kind of threw me off a little bit. Doesn't necessarily mean it won't turn around. But I didn't like the humor that Exo had, that Shanhara had. And then I didn't like, especially after recently having, the Free Comic Book Day recently come out and just seeing that line up and that amazingly well-written book by Joshua Dysart. And it's just like a night and day difference of, almost character of role. And yeah, but I'm not closing the door on the current one. And it could turn around. So yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited to read it. That's for sure. But yeah, so I think that was, kind of the big news that came out was that we were going to get Exo Manowar in November. I'm really glad that we know that now. And, now it just remains to be seen when the rest of the books are going to be coming. When are we going to get Shadow Man? When are we going to get Ninjak? When are we going to get Final Witness, Savage?
Close out the Visitor?
Than later. Close out the Visitor?
I mean, I don't know.
That's true.
Yeah. Yeah. Get the Visitor closed out, get a couple other things little in there and, ready to rock. And, there's a lot on the table, but there's a lot to be looked forward to. And, I hope stores are figuring out a way to stay open and, have their pull list and get things in there. And it just means these comic fans, the person who's going to save the comic industry is going to be the comic fan. And that's going to be telling people about your comic books, telling people to go pick up things, setting up your pull list, telling people to get on pull lists, sharing your books. Maybe, that I think to me, that's what's going to, kind of save this part of it. And so, yeah. And then trade waiting, stop doing that. Just get your single issues right now. I quit trade waiting because I will get single issues and I will get the hardcover. So I was getting all 3 and then I was trade waiting and then getting hardcovers. Now I'm just singles and hardcovers because I got a crap ton of books of trades just sitting aside that I have copies of them in 2 other formats. So,
yeah. Well, I definitely recommend picking up the single issues. I think that it's a great way to follow a story is, getting to kind of follow it month to month. And yeah, definitely excited. I know Greg said, boom, more announcements are on the way. Stay tuned. And I'm glad to hear that. But at the same time, what I wanted to say as well, in addition to, where's this? I think the other thing to keep in mind is the fact that we are going to be getting the 3 best books in Valiant right now. I think we're going to be getting the conclusion of Dr. Tomorrow. We're still getting
Bad Eggs is coming out.
We're still getting Bloodshot, and we're still getting Rye. Rye is going to be continuing here soon, starting a new arc, and God, I can't wait for that.
I wish they would let Elliot Rahal throw his Bad Eggs out there and just do a digital only for it or something. Oh, that would be, yeah.
They need to give him a book in general, whether it's Bad Eggs or something legitimate that we would actually want to see happen.
Dude, he's crazy enough to do an amazingly awesome Bad Eggs.
I'm not doubting that, but he could. I'm not doubting that, but he could also do a really good Archer and Armstrong. He could do. I think he could do just about anything. I mean, the guy's just a really good writer. So that's just the same as Brent Peoples. Give him a book. Put the two of them together on a book, and you got gold right there.
They live in the same general area, so that would make sense too. I mean, don't they?
No.
Don't they live in Midwest?
No, Brent Peoples does not. Yeah, I think he lives in Texas.
Oh, for some reason I thought he was Midwest because he usually shows his way up there a lot. So
yes, and I've seen him at several shows up here, so he's always awesome. The two of them, put the two of them on a book.
Dude, anything. That's it.
I think it would be amazing. But yeah, so we're going to be getting Exo Manowar come November. I cannot wait. Hopefully everybody else is excited as well and goes and pre-orders those comics at your local comic book shop and set up a pull list. Let them know that you want to read these books because that's the way that we keep getting more awesome content. Yeah, like I said, super excited for Dr. Tomorrow to come. Super excited to get more Bloodshot and Rye.
You know what I'm excited for?
Continue. What's that?
These things I just made just finally uploaded. So
Uh-oh.
Should we close out with it? Should we close out with it?
Yeah, I think
everybody,
it's a good time.
We're going to close out with this. Thank you all for joining me in the show. Sean, Scott, Greg. We'll sign off, but stay and watch this and give us in the comments if you like it or not.
Yeah. So again, thank you everybody for joining us. Hopefully we see you again here, I believe next week. Signing off, I'm Eric Baumgard.
I'm Hoosier. Stay valiant. And that's how the cookie crumbles. Later, guys.